Let me know you're ready.
Ready.
All right, great.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Washington. I know many of you already know that I was born and raised here. I thought it would be special to share a little bit of history from my family and how my family came to this country. In this photo, my mom, she tells me she came to the United States with about $50. My dad tells me with about $100. And since then, it's been a long journey, and she's really overcome lots of struggles. And I really appreciate hearing some of the personal stories here, because it really reminds me of how much a person can reach their goals if they work hard, and there's a lot of great personal sacrifices as well. So, thank you. In regards to my research that I'll be presenting later on this week and my interest in science and policy, I researched biological carbon sequestration in California. This research was done when I was an intern at the USGS in Woods Hole under the Woods Hole Partnership Education Program, which is a program directed in part by Dr. Gerald. Two of the main questions that I wanted to address in my research was how much carbon do the forests and soils contain in California, and how much more could be added. So what is the potential for more forest biomass carbon storage in California? One of my research products were these maps that I created using ArcGIS. This is a map illustrating the total forest biomass carbon sequestration in kilograms per square meter. The darker color, it represents a higher zone of biomass carbon, and the lighter colors indicate a lesser amount. And so, as we expected, the lesser amount of vegetation in the Mojave Desert absorbs less carbon, and the forests in the Northwest and in the Sierras absorb a greater deal. There are a variety of ways to estimate carbon sequestration. For smaller projects, people will use in-field measurements. For larger regional projects, such as this one, I relied on expansive geospatial data. The two main databases that I used were the U.S. Forest Service database by Blackbird, and this is basically a collection of maps of forest biomass and of forest distribution. The other is Landfire, which is primarily used for wildfire management, but also has pertinent information to vegetation changes and studying how vegetation changes over time. So once I had my forest biomass information, I could estimate biomass carbon using the basic equation, which states that above ground biomass carbon equals 50% of dry biomass, and that below ground biomass carbon is equal to 25% of above ground biomass. I was also interested in looking at the comparison between my estimates and California's climate change laws, which regulate how much greenhouse gas emissions should be emitted over time. And so in reference to that, I used the climate change scoping plan and the greenhouse gas inventory, which is published by the California Air Resources Board, and those are just found online. I got to use this research in my internship that I did last summer with the USDA here in Washington. I assisted the Climate Change Program Office in writing fact sheets about how the forest can be used to store carbon. Another project that I did was write fact sheets for the America's Great Outdoors Initiative. I researched the impacts, the on-the-ground impacts of this initiative, which basically is the Obama administration's effort to modernize conservation across the federal agencies. And the priority is to change conservation towards a landscape scale or towards the ecosystem scale, and to increase collaboration between federal agencies and with local community partners, and to increase recreational access, especially for youth. And this is of great interest to me to continue developing my career in something in earth science research that has a direct impact to public policy. Thank you. Are there any questions?
I do have one question. When you say using the forest to store carbon, are you looking at ways to like geoengineer certain aspects of the carbon cycle?
No, I'm not, but that's very interesting because I have heard of people genetically modifying trees to do that. But I'm just looking at existing forest biomass and how the natural process of carbon sequestration.